I'm Sean White, and today we're meditating on hiking. One of my favorite activities is to get out into the woods and do a little bit of hiking. The movement is great for my physical health, and the being in nature is just always great for my mental health. So being that we're now in spring and the weather's starting to get a little warmer, figured a lot of you guys might be thinking about getting outside a little bit, being a little bit more active. So this is a perfect time to talk about hiking. So let's get started. So what's the difference between hiking and walking? Well, walking is normally done on flat, even surfaces, usually with little to moderate inclination. Where hiking tends to be off the paved path, shall we say. Now, two major things that you're going to want to think about before you come out hiking. The first is your fitness level, and the second is going to be how quickly do you walk. Now, the first one is important because many hiking trails have different degrees of difficulties. So you'll see it on the map. There's going to be a green circle is going to be your easier trails. The blue square is going to be your intermediate, and the black diamonds are going to be your more challenging. So understanding what trail you're on is going to really help based on your fitness levels, right? We want to have a good time, so we want to make sure that we're not out on a trail that's too difficult for us. And on the flip side, also, we don't want to be on a trail that's too easy for us because it might not be as much fun for us. Now, also knowing how quickly you walk is going to help you plan out your hike, right? I walk about 3 miles per hour, so I know if I'm giving myself an hour's time to hike, I can take a look at the map, look for a trail that's going to be about 3 miles long. I'm going for an hour and a half, I can do about 4.5 miles. So this is really important for planning out your trip. Now, it's also good for safety as well, because if you are on a 3-mile hike that should take you about an hour, and an hour and 20 minutes into it, you still haven't reached the end of the trail, well then, most likely you've made a wrong turn somewhere and you should probably look at a map. I live in New Jersey and we have a lot of great parks out here. We have county parks, we have state parks, we have federal parks, and they're all great. Now, I'm currently in Homedale Park, which is part of the Monmouth County Park System, and this is one of my favorite places to come hike because it's got great hiking trails, plus a whole bunch of other amenities. It's just a really, really nice park. So now, if you've never been to a park before, what I would recommend is finding something like what you see behind me here. This is the information center, and you'll find these a lot at the start of most trailheads. Now, this is going to give you a map of the park, so you can see the lay of the land. It'll give you the legend, so you know what's going on. It'll also give you a list of all the trails, and it'll let you know what the degree of difficulty of the trails are. Now, also another great thing that they usually have is pamphlets about the park that also has a map of it. These are free to take. So if you've never been to a park before, you should totally take one and make sure you have a map with you as you're hiking along. So a couple of things to be mindful while you're out hiking. The first is stay hydrated, right? Anytime we're doing physical activities, we want to make sure that we're properly hydrated. So if you're going on a short hike, you could probably just drink something beforehand and have something when you get done. If you're going on a longer hike though, make sure you bring a water bottle with you. You might also want to think about bringing a backpack, maybe throw some snacks in there, some mixed nuts, some granola bars, something along those lines, just in case you get a little hungry and need a little energy boost. Next, be mindful of your terrain, right? It's kind of good to know that before you head out. If you're going on a rocky trail, you're going to want to have something with good ankle support, right? We don't need to go crazy and buy like $2,000 boots or anything like that, but just be mindful of where you're hiking. You can see behind me, the trail I'm on is pretty easy, so cross trainers are perfectly fine in that regard. We want to make sure that we're safe and we're having a good time. Also, keep in mind, different parks label their trails differently. Monmouth County Park System does a wonderful job. Other parks, they might just use a little bit of paint on a tree to delineate what trail you're on. And sometimes that gets faded and quite easy to miss sometimes. So that's why it's always good to make sure that you grab a map. So then this way you kind of know where you should be at. And speaking of that, let somebody know where you're going if you're hiking by yourself, right? Somebody should always know where you're at. You can share location services, or I use an app called All Trails. which is really good and allows you to do some live sharing. I think you need to pay for that feature, but it's a really good one to have if you're going to be out somewhere. Be safe, make sure that people know where you're at. Now, I hope this has encouraged you and inspired you a little bit to go out and do a little bit of hiking. If you like this video, then click the like button and share it with your friends. If you want to hear more of what I got to say, then subscribe, turn on notifications, and find out when new videos are coming out. And leave me some comments down below. Do you enjoy hiking? Have you never tried hiking before? Do you want to go hiking with me? Leave me some comments, let me know. And until we speak again, be well, be safe, and be kind to everybody.